Welcome back to the third and final installment of Guan Yu, China's greatest general. If you haven't watched part 1 and 2, I highly recommend going and taking a look at those before going any further. Let's get started. With an early victory over Yu Jin, Cao Cao was increasingly frightened of Guan Yu's victories. However, at this time, Guan Yu was growing older and his men were wearing down. Constant battle had seen them grind themselves to exhaustion. Plus, Guan Yu had a bad habit of chastising and belittling his subordinates who did not perform to his expectations, and this would lead to his undoing. Cao Cao first made a secret alliance with Sun Quan. Sun Quan at this time was growing just as afraid of Guan Yu and his skill, and feared that if Cao Cao was defeated, Liu Bei would use Guan Yu against him. This would come into play later, but Cao Cao needed an immediate solution to Guan Yu's siege on Fancheng. So Cao Cao not only made the secret alliance with Sun Quan, but dispatched his general Chu Huang to reinforce Cao Ren at Fancheng. That was a lot of Chinese words, wasn't it? Chu Huang was at one point a close friend of Guan Yu and knew his style of combat. He quickly encircled Guan Yu's soldiers and forced Guan Yu to retreat. Guan Yu, seeing that it was Chu Huang who was leading this attack, believed that perhaps he and his old friend could reconcile or even discuss compromise. But then Chu Huang gave an order to his men. Whoever brings me the head of Guan Yu will receive 1,000 jin of gold. Guan Yu, horrified, asked how he could make such a decree after all their years spent together. Chu Huang replied, "This is an affair of the state." This further showed that any friendship between him and the generals of Cao Cao were all but gone. Things would only get worse for Guan Yu. With his army routed, he was forced to fall back and borrow from granaries in Sun Quan's province to feed his armies. And at this time, Sun Quan had formed his alliance with Cao Cao, if you'll remember, and was leading an invasion into Jing province. Guan Yu had left 2 retainers in charge of the area to guard it, but he had also chastised and belittled these 2 men for their lack of courage and their failure to send adequate supplies to his front line during the Battle of Fancheng. He had told them, and I quote, "I will deal with you upon my return," end quote. Their fear of punishment made them more willing to work with Sun Quan, who offered them leniency for their willingness to surrender. They surrendered with barely a fight, and soon Sun Quan had taken over Jing province, cutting off Guan Yu's escape. But there was more to it than that. You see, Sun Quan knew that many of Guan Yu's soldiers had family in Jing province, so he had the families captured and treated as prisoners. And though he treated them well and fed them properly, the knowledge that their families were in enemy hands disheartened Guan Yu's troops, and many left the army to rejoin their families. Guan Yu quickly took what was left of his army, as well as his own son Guan Ping. Does that sound familiar?
It's Ping.
Ping. Because Ping did steal my...
Yes, my name is Ping.
And retreated to Mai Chen. However, upon getting there, his remaining soldiers deserted the army and surrendered to the enemy. Sun Quan finally closed the net on Guan Yu with his leader Lu Ming when he sent the general Chu Ran, Pan Chang, and Lu Ming to block his retreat and ambush him. Guan Yu and his son were both captured alive, and then they were later executed in Linju. After his death, Sun Quan sent the head of Guan Yu to Cao Cao as a token of his loyalty, and because Cao Cao had known Guan Yu personally. Upon receiving the head, Cao Cao buried it with full honors and rites as if he were a noble. Some reports even attest that he wept for the fallen Guan Yu. And in 260 AD, the descendant of Liu Bei, Liu Shan, gave him the posthumous title Chuang Mo, which means one who failed to live up to his reputation. That was the end of Guan Yu's life. Guan Yu's life was one of nobility, loyalty, righteousness, and matchless military ingenuity. He was a man who could strike fear into the hearts of the strongest warlords in China. He amazed one of the most devious and cunning men by declining a luxurious position for the sake of loyalty. But his reputation and legacy live on to this day. Though he's gone, his name is not. Many practicing Buddhists revere Guan Yu as a Sangharma Bodhisattva, a protector of the Buddha. In China today, he's worshipped in some Kwantani temples. He's a character mentioned in several video games, Chinese operas, and movies. And, much to my surprise, there are even action anime which have Guan Yu in them. Including an anime with a schoolgirl who is supposedly a reincarnation of Guan Yu, because Whenever anime meets history, the historical figures gotta be turned into schoolgirls, right? I do not recommend this anime. I gave it a watch. It's terrible. Do not, just don't. We know one thing. For honor based Zhang Jun, the general, off of Guan Yu. And who better to choose to represent the general of the battlefield, other than one of the greatest generals ever? Not because he won every battle or because he died in glorious battle, but because he was a testament to loyalty. Because he changed the history of the world by helping his longtime friend form the kingdom of Shu Han, one of the 3 kingdoms in China. And because to this day his presence, deed, and his very image have left an impact on hearts and souls in China and around the globe. All take pause and remember the valor and righteousness that made up the impeccable and unmatched general of Han China, Guan Yu, who was indeed China's greatest general. I hope you guys enjoyed this video series talking about Guan Yu. This was sort of an experimental thing that I was doing to talk about a historical figure that made up one of the heroes in For Honor. If you're interested in seeing me do more stuff like this, please let me know in the comment section. And if you want to see more videos like this and see the rest of my talk on For Honor and possibly other things in the future, please, I encourage you to subscribe. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next For Honor analysis.